Hello again, everybody. This is John and Glenn with BestPriceNutrition.com. Today we're here to talk to you guys about Dymatize Nutrition Elite Gourmet. So Glenn, Dymatize looks at this as their great tasting protein, hence the name Gourmet. What about it? What can you tell us about it?
It's their whey and casein blend. They call it their most delicious protein, award-winning taste, they say. To get into it, the first is whey protein matrix. It's whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, and whey peptides. And then there's a milk protein matrix, which is milk protein containing micellar casein and caseinate and calcium caseinate.
Which also means there's whey, I would assume, too, unless they took the whey out of it, because bovine milk protein is, about 80% casein, 20% whey. So maybe that's what they mean by the parentheses containing. Who knows? But then by definition, it wouldn't be milk protein. So there's probably some whey as a source there too. But it doesn't matter anyways, because it's a whey casein blend, like you said. So overall protein quality, what was the first protein on there? Is it the
whay concentrate, whey protein concentrate.
Okay, to put that in perspective, whey concentrates are fine. They are the cheapest, form of whey you're going to find. As opposed to an isolate where you isolate the protein. It's pretty much the methods that you use to separate the whey, the protein itself, from the fat, lactose, ash, the other byproducts, so to speak, in there. And when you concentrate it, sometimes you denature some of the protein microfractions, things like that, so you don't get as high of a quality of whey protein. It's not to say it's terrible or anything like that, but some of the greatest benefits of whey protein are in those protein microfractions, where a lot of the immune system benefits come from, and some of the anti-carcinogenic effects. There's a lot of research demonstrating whey to be almost like a superfood when it comes to that. Now, whey is going to absorb pretty fast, not going to be as filling, rich in BCAAs, as is casein. They're both very rich in BCAAs. Because we get a lot of questions, hey, do I need to take BCAAs? We've got a video on that, but if you're not on a hypocaloric diet and you're getting a whey casein, you're going to get a lot of BCAAs right there. Now, what about casein? What are the characteristics that it's going to have as opposed to whey?
It's a slower digesting protein, and a lot of that, there's many variables in terms of what you've eaten for the day, things like that. But it's a slower digesting protein. It's, like John said, loaded with BCAAs. Suitable for maybe throughout the day. So a lot of people take it before bed to get that release of amino acids while you're
feel
sleeping.
A little more full sometimes too. I think people who are dieting sometimes will benefit. If you're only taking a whey protein, you're kind of on a in a slight caloric deficit, or you're really trying to watch your calories. Sometimes casein might be a little bit more satiating, so you may want to throw some of that in with your whey, or use something like a blended protein. Now, we touched on taste. Taste is something that's subjective, obviously. The company promotes it that way, and we do get pretty good feedback in terms of taste on it. Now, a lot of the good tasting proteins tend to have a fair amount of fat in there, usually some carbs. Usually it's the fat that gives that creamy, rich taste, like it was mixed in milk. How much fat per serving?
This actually has 1.5 grams of fat and 6 grams of carbs. They do use soybean oil, guar gum. Yeah, it looks like their main source of fat, soybean oil, and the carbohydrates would come from probably the casein and the whey concentrate.
Sure. Because a whey isolate, you're going to get pretty much all the lactose out of it, which is where a lot of the carbs are going to come from. So it's decently low in calories for being like a good tasting protein, so to speak. Quality of the protein, I'd say, if we were to rate it, would be it's okay. It's not. I don't think they're saying it's a CFM whey protein isolate micellar casein blend, because that would make the product more expensive too. Typically when we get those questions, people are going to ask like, well, what do you think about this or that? And I always have to ask the question, compared to what, and at what cost, so to speak. What are they charging for? If somebody's trying to charge you for a whey protein concentrate at the level as if it's a whey protein isolate, well then no, it's not worth it, clearly. But this is priced accordingly relative to the quality of protein you're getting. So then it would make sense.
The good thing about it too is that if you're going to be drinking a protein every day, some people do multiple servings per day. It's nice to taste good. Nice to have something that tastes good. So something here being relatively low in calories, 125 calories per scoop, and low in fat and carbs, but with a higher protein. That's good. And
everyone's going to use their powders differently. Some people work from home maybe, and they can make smoothies with a blender and throw fruit in there or what have you to make them taste better. Some people are just on the road. They want something that tastes good with some water, or they're dieting and they just need something that's sweet. So that's where it can benefit. So I hope we answered your questions on it. Now, this is the Elite Gourmet. Now, there's a lot of elite proteins from Dymatize. So
they have another blended protein there, Elite Fusion 7.
Yes.
So these are 2 different proteins. This is a blend of 7 different proteins.
So it's more like BSN since it's 6. And it's not really 7 different proteins. It's actually 3. It's whey, egg, and casein, just whey concentrate and whey isolate, they count as 2 different proteins. Well, it's really whey protein in terms of the amino acid profile. So it's a little misleading, but a lot of companies will do that to, for marketing purposes. And that one has more calories.
Yes.
More
higher calorie, higher fat, higher carbs.
Yeah. So. And then there's some other elite varieties of proteins, but for this one specifically, it's Elite Gourmet, because sometimes we get questions, hey, what about Dymatize Elite Protein? And then we have to ask, well, which one? So if you have questions about other ones, please make sure you let us know which one you're talking about so we can answer those for you intelligently. So, all right, so if you guys have any other questions on this, please feel free to post them in the comments section of the video or the blog. We're more than happy to answer. Also, please check us out at facebook.com/BestPriceNutrition. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.